All the way from the start, I can feel it in my heart, like all the way from the start.
Hey, what's going on out there? I'm Sean Devine. Hope you all are doing well. Today's video, we're going to be talking about getting the perfect preamp settings for your vocals. This is a topic that a lot of you send in questions about. You're not getting the results, the quality you want out of your audio interface or your microphone preamp. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about how I set mine up. And we're going to talk about some things to consider to make sure that you're getting the optimal signal out of your mic and your preamp so that when we get to the mixing stage, you can get the best quality possible and you're not going to have issues. So let's go ahead and dive in. The first thing that you got to consider when it comes to setting your preamp is what type of microphone you have. So this mic right here is the legendary SM7B. I know a lot of you are familiar with this mic. It requires a lot more preamp gain because it is a dynamic microphone. So that's why we talk about using things like the cloud lifter for some of you who have, low budget audio interfaces with not as much gain on your preamp to power a mic. If you're using a mic like this, which is a condenser mic, this is an NT1, it doesn't require as much gain. So just general rule of thumb, when you're setting up your microphone, realizing that a condenser, your preamp is going to be set lower in terms of the gain you're feeding it. It's going to require less gain, which for a lot of you, that's going to work out better because you're going to get a better noise floor, better relationship to the noise floor, especially for those of you who are using, lower quality preamps. All right, so with that in mind, I'm going to turn the camera around and we're going to take a look at my channel strip and preamp, and I want to talk about how to set the preamp gain properly, get it optimized so that you can get the best level. And then we're going to go into the DAW, and I'm going to show you a couple of cool tricks for monitoring yourself to where we can maintain that optimal level, but we can adjust things so you can hear yourself better. And we're doing that non-destructively. All right, so we're taking a look at the front of my audio interface, which is the RME UFX, and then the Aphex channel, which is what I'm utilizing as my preamp. You'll see I don't have a mic hooked up here to the preamps on the RME. I want to use the preamp in the Aphex, and then I'm just running the output directly into my audio interface for recording. But let's talk about this control here, which is our input gain, otherwise known as our preamp gain. I have our 48-volt preamp power on to power the mic. So this control right here, there's a lot of misconceptions about this. If you're not getting the results that you want, this is probably your problem. Those of you out there who are setting this preamp or input gain to allow yourself to hear yourself better and to get a louder signal, that is not what we wanted to go for. This control is not for that. What we want to use this for is just to power the mic just enough to get a healthy signal. So you can see my input signal over here. We've got enough separation between any noise that's being generated, self noise by your mic or by the preamp itself. You want to get that well above any noise that's happening so that we can process that and get a better quality, but we don't want to be pushing it to the point where we might have any kind of distortion. If we get louder during our recording, we don't want that to clip. So looking over here, I've also got an output control. Now we're going to be controlling the ultimate level of our signal in the DAW because that gives you a lot more flexibility and it's non-destructive, meaning we're not going to be, committing to getting the level out of the preamp itself. And my preamp actually has a little bit of a noise floor, and if I turn this output up higher, it actually will give me a slightly noisier signal. So again, just something else gain staging wise you want to consider, but you want to keep the output, relatively low and safe going into the DAW. And then again, don't worry about it being really soft and you're not really able to hear it maybe compared to the beat. I'm going to show you how to optimize that in terms of monitoring. But right now we're just getting a nice, clean, healthy signal, and then we're going to be able to get a lot more mileage out of it when we get into the DAWs. All right, so we've got our mic signal coming into Logic right now. I've got a couple of plugins here that we're going to talk about. First, the what you've probably been waiting for, which is the optimal level to get your vocals into the DAW and start recording with. So I like to set this to a short-term measurement of minus 25 LUFS. So you'll see that I have our WLM Plus as the first plugin in the chain so that I can measure this. But what I like to do is just go ahead and reset it and then just do a little trial run. Yeah, this is the intro. I don't know what I'm gonna say, but I saw that minus 25 and now it's live. When you wake up. All right, so I was at minus 25 there, and that's the goal. So that's the input level, right? Then after that, I have a gain plugin. So for those of you, once we had set the optimal settings on the preamp itself, obviously that signal is going to be pretty quiet, especially relative to, pulling in a commercial level beat. So I put the gain plugin there just to bring that up. Now, the cool thing about this is, if I turn it off right now, this is the just dry signal. Again, a lot quieter coming in at minus 25 LUFS, but I can turn this gain plugin on and, we can turn it up as loud as we want. However much gain you need to apply so that you can hear yourself better, it's not a problem. Let's say you wanted to track with compression. It's very easy to just put a compressor on there. And in the DAW, having these plugins as inserts, we're not committing to that sound. That's just totally for your monitoring purposes. So this is a really powerful practice because you're able to get the sound you want while you're monitoring, but you're not going to be destructively applying this stuff in the tracking process. So it just gives you a lot more flexibility. As soon as you take these plugins off, you're going to have that optimal level in terms of your recording. When you're at minus 25, it's going to optimize the processing in various plugins. For instance, my presets in Vocal Chains V3, they're designed for minus 25 short-term LUFS. If I turn the gain off, turn Studio Rack on, I can sing in D minor now, and I got a clean signal coming through my plugins. All right, y'all. So I hope that helps in terms of getting your preamp set up for optimal results. Again, just realizing that this is a very important first step in getting the best quality possible. So for those of you out there who maybe have been complaining about your quality, thinking you need a new mic, thinking you need a new preamp, go back and apply all these things that we talked about, and I can guarantee you're going to get a lot better sound out of your existing setup, and you're also going to guarantee that you have consistent optimized recordings for jumping into your mixing session, or if you're sending these out to your engineer, you're going to be able to let them do the best job possible, or you're going to be able to do the best job possible for your vocals. So if you have any questions about setting the preamp gain, about setting up your preamp for these pristine results, feel free to leave a comment below. If you learned anything in the video, please like, subscribe, and consider sharing. Hit that notification bell so you know when I put up new videos. We'll talk to you soon.
But they don't know what I feel, driven by the truth that's inside of me. Yeah, egos and odds been stacked against me all day, but the worst of it all is thoughts and words I didn't say. In the past you got the best of me, but recently been getting the feeling potential, the ceiling. My talent risen to lead them, we're living now. Dark clouds are surrounding, we hear about